Trump's dream team revealed. Sources close to former President Donald Trump have reportedly revealed how the leading GOP candidate would build his cabinet and White House staff if he were reelected president in 2024. Allegedly, former First Lady Melania Trump is eyeing former Fox News host Tucker Carlson for VP. Former Trump senior advisor Stephen Miller is in talks for Attorney General. Tucker Carlson is pushing former White House chief strategist Steve Bannon to be chief of staff once again. And apparently Ohio Senator J.D. Vance is up for a big role, possibly as well on the VP shortlist. Other considerations include former National Security Council official Kash Patel, Mike Davis, Arkansas Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders, and also South Dakota Governor Kristi Noem has been floated as a VP choice.
According to the new Harris X/The Messenger polling, in a matchup between Trump and Ron DeSantis, the former president received 75% of support, and the Florida governor received 25%, putting him 50 points behind Trump. And Trump received 79% of support between former South Carolina Governor Nikki Haley, who received 21%, falling behind the former president by 58 points.
So Tucker is perennially floated as a potential GOP candidate. He has said over and over and over again he has no interest in running for president. He would never do it. He's been definitive on this point. So this would be selecting him for VP. I don't know if he feels differently about that. I have no reason to think he's interested in such a role, but he's certainly popular and gets along well with Trump, except for that little I hate him passionately.
Yeah, except for that.
Well, he was mad at him at the time.
Okay. Well, if I subpoena your text, am I going to hear you say that you hate very many people passionately? And are those people that you would choose to be your vice president if such an opportunity emerged?
Probably. I say a lot of things about a lot of people.
Look, I can see why it would benefit Donald Trump. I don't see as much how it benefits Tucker Carlson.
Yeah.
Certainly there's no money in the game. He doesn't need a platform. He doesn't need more influence. And having to play second fiddle to someone who he has in recent memory hated passionately and who does get himself into situations and commit himself to positions that frankly Tucker Carlson is not going to want to commit himself to. When you work on a campaign, the principle is what matters. The principal's voice and opinions is what matters. You don't get to have your own opinions. And the idea...
The principal, you mean the principal person,
yes.
Not principles.
Certainly not principles. Right. But no, the leader of the team,
right.
The candidate is what matters. And the idea of an opinion journalist like Tucker Carlson throwing all of that away to play second fiddle to someone who just from his age alone is on the end of his political career, I don't see it. I want to ask you, this was reported as Melania Trump is really gunning for Tucker as the VP. Do we have a strong sense that Donald Trump is in the habit of deferring to Melania Trump's opinion or weighing them especially heavily as he's making these kinds of decisions?
I mean, I don't know. He put Jared Kushner in charge of his entire Middle East foreign policy and like a bunch of other things.
Because of Melania?
He put Ivanka... he puts family members in charge of important decisions. What do you don't think he...
No, I think that's neither here nor there.
Well, Melania did the Christmas tree decorations, and I thought they looked fantastic.
Yeah,
She's a first lady with an impeccable sense of style.
I can't
say a mean thing about her. I can't.
I wouldn't argue with that either. I'm interested in talking about the polls a little bit. Obviously, we discussed the debate somewhat in a blog, but there's a lot more to say there. Mm-hmm. Historically, despite the news media being very interested and engaged with Vivek Ramaswamy's performances during these debates, he has only gone down in polls over the course of this primary season. On the other hand, Nikki Haley, who only got begrudging praise in the beginning and seems to be having stronger and stronger support approval after these debates going forward, has been gaining in the polls. And obviously the Koch brothers and a lot of other big donors seem to think that she's the one to beat if there's anyone that's going to have a chance to go up against Donald Trump. So I do wonder what you make of, what you predict rather is going to come out poll-wise of this particular debate performance.
Well, you know why I suspect that is? A lot of the people who like Ramaswamy a lot are already going to vote for Trump. Mm-hmm. Trump is their top choice. Mm-hmm. I think if you did some kind of ranking, it would not surprise me at all to see Ramaswamy with higher overall favorabilities or coming in a higher place than Nikki Haley. It's just like right now, Haley, DeSantis, Christie and Ramaswamy are ostensibly fighting for the people who aren't already indicating that they're going to support Trump. And so there aren't a lot more of those people who are for Ramaswamy. Now, Ramaswamy, I think, is saying a lot of things that are popular with the Republican primary base on really on all issues. I think he's quietly captured. Now, his fan base skews younger. It's certainly more online. It is the case that X is not real life entirely. I'm not discounting more normie people or more traditional Republican voters at all. But I think if Trump magically disappeared, I bet Ramaswamy's numbers would go up substantially. I think there's a lot of crossover in their appeal. Clearly, I mean, in fact, establishment people have conceded that and think the entire point of this Ramaswamy campaign is to have someone on stage, because Trump's not going to do it, trying to delegitimize those candidates, that's explicitly the strategy. I mean,
it would be also very interesting, since this is a conversation about VPs, given the reluctance to attack Trump head on, this does feel increasingly like a race for number 2. If Donald Trump were to pick someone, maybe not Tucker Carlson, but someone not on that debate stage as his VP after all of this, I mean, what is the purpose?
Well, I mean, frankly, I think he is likely to pick someone for VP who is not on that debate stage currently. I mean, there's no way on earth he's going to pick Christie.
Sure.
Given the level of acrimony between them, I can't imagine him picking DeSantis.
Sure, but
Nikki Haley, I don't think it likely, frankly.
Why not?
I think they're too much of an ideological clash. I think
on what
they're
specifically?
Foreign policy.
Come now. What specifically? Do you think that Donald Trump has a plan to end the war, to cut funding to Ukraine?
No, but his people don't like her, like a lot.
Right.
Like they really listen to Tucker Carlson inveigh against her constantly.
Sure, but Tucker Carlson, as we just discussed, is unlikely to be on Donald Trump's staff. And Donald Trump, as much as
but if Donald Trump's listening to these kind of people, the kinds of people he's considering for his cabinet, your J.D. Vances, your Steve Bannons, your Steve Millers, all of these people think Nikki Haley is anathema.
Right, but
he could still do it. You're right. I just don't think it's very likely.
The point of the VP is to assuage the concerns of the part of the public that did not vote for you. Joe Biden wasn't chosen because he was ideologically similar to Barack Obama. He was chosen because if you were worried about there being this young black president, here's an old white guy that eulogized Strom Thurmond. And it's the same, Mike Pence. It's not Trump's an evangelical, so let me get this fellow evangelical.
For sure.
You get someone who covers what you're not covering.
You're right, but there's a way to do that. There are other choices. I mean, Kristi Noem is a choice for that. There are people for whom establishment Republicans could breathe a sigh of relief about that would not infuriate Trump's diehard people as much as Nikki Haley. I understand it. You're underestimating the amount of dislike for Nikki Haley among MAGA people. It's intense. It's really intense. I'm just telling you, it is.
All right.
You heard it from Amber Duke, our Fridays co-host, who came on A Block. She's more conservative than I am, in touch with that part of the base. They really don't like Nikki Haley.
Right, and it's also true that most Americans aren't where she is. I got to say, I'm sorry. And we saw that with the red wave that didn't happen last year. Most people are not so right-wing about gender issues, about abortion issues, about all of these culture issues. Most Americans would prefer, I think, that 30 minutes of the debate weren't occupied with Ron DeSantis saying children's genitals over and over again. And the red wave that didn't happen was stalled in large part because of right-wing extremism on the abortion issue. And Nikki Haley has threaded that needle very well. And frankly, Donald Trump has been much less extremist on that issue than a lot of other Republicans in the race. So there does seem to be an interesting marriage of interest there.
She's threading it well in the sense that, yes, if she was the general election candidate, I believe she would win. I believe she has by far the most likelihood of prevailing over Joe Biden, whoever the Democrat is. But what I'm saying is she's not doing a good enough job of threading the needle in terms of actually winning Republican primary support, which is what matters. A popular blue state Republican governor. I mean, Mitt Romney would win in like a 50-state landslide, but Republicans hate, actual conservatives despise him now.
Well, look, the last VP Republican voters created a guillotine and expressed an intent to lynch him on January 6th at the end. Mike Pence?
Mike Pence. I didn't know who you were talking about.
Yeah. So, I mean, and that was his actual pick. That was Donald Trump's pick. So I guess
Which is why he's never going to be the
Sure, but I'm a little bit more open to the idea that that it could be a person who argued with Donald Trump, who wasn't looked at particularly warmly by Donald Trump or his followers, that could be in that slot. I'm just saying, I wouldn't count it out so
I mean, it could be
conclusively.
Tim Scott. Tim Scott doesn't give the same. There isn't the same level of dislike.
I also don't see how he helps Donald Trump in the same way
as Nikki Haley.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking about setting some Republicans at ease.
Yeah, but
he accomplishes
he has no
that.
constituency. I don't know. Well, we'll see. Let us know what you think. Stick around. We'll have more Rising for you right after this.